back, and it's time for us to get into the newspapers right now. And just starting us off, of course, is the Daily Nation. And I would love to actually look at this particular story because we have alluded to it even during the devotion. So this is Iran, end of an era. So we know what happened over the weekend. So the government has asked Kenyans in the Middle East to be vigilant and contact the Kenyan embassies if in distress amid the escalation of joint US-Israel airstrikes on Iran, which have killed Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Hosseini Khamenei. So this is a story covered on page 16. It's just in line with what we were talking about earlier. Of course, many Kenyans are in distress at such a time as this, those working in the Middle East. So they've been advised to contact the Kenyan embassies in those areas. But as we were saying, even as you contact those Kenyan embassies, remember to call on the name of the Lord, because he is indeed that strong tower. And moving on, I see the Daily Nation is also covering MP Ng'eno's secret tapes that fixed Gachagua. Goes ahead to tell us that Emurua, the Kir MP Johanna Ng'eno, is among the 6 people killed in a helicopter crash on Saturday at Chepkiep village in Mosop, Nandi County. The helicopter went down minutes after takeoff and burst into flames in a hilly area. Authorities have opened investigations into the tragedy. It says here the die was cast for then Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua after leaked conversations in 2024 with Johanna Ng'eno. Preliminary investigations tell us into that crash that killed Emurua, the Dakir MP, show helicopter was flying in low altitude. And also, opposition leaders are demanding an independent probe into the lawmakers' death and crash, and also how a 5-minute delay saved county official from boarding ill-fated chopper. So these are all things that are coming up from that, and the full coverage is covered on pages 2 all the way to 5. So that is for the Daily Nation. When we come to the Standard, I'm seeing MP who defied Ruto. I'm seeing here in a region known for voting as one end of following the man at the top, Emurua Dakir MP Johanna Ng'eno, stood apart. So this is still in conjunction with that crash that also happened over the weekend. He defied President William Ruto's dominance over Great Rift politics and won, driven by the struggles of his people. Fiercely independent and unafraid to speak his mind, Ng'eno often clashed with the region's political kingpin, not for personal gain, but in defense of his constituents. His sudden death is a blow the region will not quickly recover from. And more is being said about that. Patrick Ole Tutu, the Narok governor here, saying he was deeply devoted to his work, tirelessly serving his constituents with dedication and passion. Moses Wetangula, the National Assembly Speaker, is said here, a fierce leader who strongly defended the people he represented, whose commitment to development and service was exemplary. So this is just with regard to that unfortunate and untimely death of that MP after that crash by that helicopter. And the Standard is also covering Ayatollah killing. Trump opens a can of worms on the world. This is quite interesting. It says, when an anchor on Iranian state television broke down in tears on live TV while announcing the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, the world saw a rare moment of raw emotion from Tehran's tightly controlled media. Her sobbing delivery as she pronounced the long-term leader martyred amid a massive US-Israeli military offensive signaled the shock shaking the Islamic Republic and foreshadowed the painful global repercussions rippling from the Middle East. This is also a story that has been covered extensively. That is on page 4 all the way to 7. So an anchor was reporting that news, and she broke into tears just reporting. So that is the state of the world at the moment. There's so much unease. There is so much fear and anxiety in all directions following the death, of course, of this man Ayatollah. And of course, looking at the whole situation, you realize that it's affecting a big number of people, especially those that are working in the Middle East. So let us keep praying. Let us keep seeking the Lord for safety. I believe that he will protect those that are there. And I'm also seeing the health and science pull out today on the Standard is talking about spinal TB, why early detection is key to treatment. And it's saying overcrowding, undernutrition, and limited access to healthcare continue to fuel transmission, but diagnosis. Spinal tuberculosis requires careful clinical assessment supported by imaging and laboratory testing. A story covered on page 4 and 5. And it's amazing. I've just seen a face here that I recognize. This is Panther, who we interviewed not so long ago. And it's important to understand that I think why he's very, very important in this conversation of the spinal TB is because that spinal TB for him that was not treated for a very long time led to paralysis of the legs. So he's not able to move around but has to use a wheelchair, and that is because of the spinal TB that was not treated early enough, not early detected, and also not early treated. So that is what the health and science bulletin on the Standard is covering today, and you can look at it so that you can take caution as well. The health and science is also talking about malaria vaccine, not so good news for adults. And also we have turning the clock, hidden pressures that come with menopause, a story covered on page 7. So that's it for the newspaper review. Let's now have a look at the video of the day.